we had some updates to the overtime rules. Wouldn't be an NFL offseason without updates to overtime or some type of rules. So, these new overtime rules, if you want to take the floor right here, Deacon,
sure.
Let the people know what's been amended.
New playoff overtime rules. Both teams will have the opportunity to possess the ball in overtime in the postseason.
Uh-oh.
If the score is tied after each team has possessed the ball, the next score wins.
Hey, now.
If the team kicking off to start the overtime period scores a safety on the receiving team's initial possession, that team that kicked off is the winner.
Okay, all right.
That's it.
So both teams get a chance to get the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You know I'm amped up.
Okay.
You should be too.
Well, I was going to ask, just, hypothetical.
Okay.
Because this is in response to the Bills and Chiefs game. I get that part.
Yeah.
And just like the Bills said when it happened and what they still said now, they weren't tripping on it. So it was part of the game. They weren't hollering about changing any rules. Just to clarify that.
Yeah, it was everyone
They were
else.
good on that. Absolutely. So.
That was a good game, though. We wanted to see more.
But I just want to know, in that particular situation, Chiefs scored first, right?
Yeah.
If the Bills would have got the ball and scored after that, and then the Chiefs come back and score again, and the game ends like that.
Yeah.
Is that still enough, or
That's
will we
enough.
still want more? Because
That's
I
enough.
feel like
that's enough.
We've already evolved it because remember at first it was you kick a field goal and it's over. Then it was like no field goal, you got to score a touchdown. Then it was okay, you can score a touchdown. Now it's like no, they still got to get the chance to get the ball now. I'm just just trying to see like, are we gonna stop that? Are we sure?
I think this
because
is the line. I promise.
Because I just feel like we're gonna be over here like this game is so good. I mean, dude, we just saw this dude score. Now they score. Now they're getting the ball again and they score. We want more.
I think this one just makes sense. I think we've gotten to the point. Those other ones, the field goal, no, this is whack, man. All they got to do is like 40 yards and then kick a field goal. The game is over.
We don't care about
That's
defense.
Whack.
I get it,
all right,
man.
Now you
throw away defense, man. Who cares about defense?
To all right, you score a touchdown, game over. But if you kick a field goal, you got to kick it back. That still didn't feel right because it's happened multiple times. I mean, the Bills-Chiefs game is a good example. It happened in the Super Bowl, Patriots-Falcons, where Matt Ryan didn't get the ball after Brady scored in overtime. It also happened in the Patriots-Chiefs AFC Championship, I believe.
Yeah. This thing's 12 times in the postseason?
Yeah, it just doesn't sit right. I just think the other team should have a chance on offense. That's all. Yeah. After a touchdown. And that's it. That's the line. We're done.
You sure?
I promise.
You sure?
I promise.
I feel like this is never ending. I just feel like we're just trying to continue to get it where defense really doesn't matter. Like, what's the purpose of having a defense out there? Why don't we just like I said before, let the quarterbacks and receivers have a skills challenge and y'all can just have at it? Because everybody wants to see these quarterbacks and these receivers out there, right? Just let them do it. Y'all just go out there and do it, man. Y'all keep playing until the fans get tired of watching y'all play. Because I just feel like we just minimize the other parts of the team. What's the purpose of a special teams unit? What's the purpose of a defensive unit if it's always going to result back to they need another chance? Because I do feel like it's only going to continue. Now, we don't know the likelihood of when this is going to happen.
What's next, do you think?
Because right now this is only for the playoffs. This doesn't apply for the regular season.
Which I'm good with that too. Yeah. Playoffs was the main thing.
But still, people aren't even excited about that because they're still trying to get rid of ties in the regular season. So I'm just like, where are we drawing this line? I just feel like it's only going to continue on. Because, like I said, for me, man, when I first started them changing the rule from a field goal to having to score a touchdown, I said, okay, cool. It still puts, more onus on, allowing the offense to go out there and do it. But the defense still has a chance. The defense can make a play. And we've seen also in overtime where defenses make plays. We bring up that Saints and Rams game that everybody got so, out of whack over with the non-PI call. But who got the ball first in overtime? The Saints did. And who caused the turnover? The Rams did. And the Rams won the game. But nobody talks about that. It's just, hey, man, you remember that PI call? And that's what we kind of got hung up. But it was like that was an overtime situation as well. That was a game where we saw the defense actually make a play. We could talk about this past playoffs where it wasn't overtime, but you think about the Packers and the 49ers. Defense and special teams came up big in that game to help them win on the road.
Rams,
Absolutely.
Bengals, yeah.
But it's just like we kind of lose sight of that at times. And that's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to figure out. I don't feel like it's ever going to stop. I feel like we're going to get a situation where we're going to have one of these crazy outlier games because that was an outlier of a game. Let's not act like what crazy. That was doing happens all the time. That was an outlier. But it's like, man, all right, where would we draw that line? Because I do not think that the same people that were hollering about Josh Allen need to get another chance with that ball if he would have got the ball and scored, and then Mahomes went and got the ball and scored again, I don't think it would have stopped there.
We got to see.
I don't think it would have stopped, man.
The personnel on each side of the ball go out there at least one time. That's all we need to see. And it's done. I'm telling you, that's the line.
Are you sure?
I think you're looking at this wrong, too. If anything, I want to see the
man.
Chiefs defense in that scenario. That's what I'm seeing. Chiefs defense, what do you got? You skated by here.
Nah, but
that's what I'm looking for.
So if the Bills got the ball first, then why wouldn't it stop there?
Then I want to see what the Bills defense got.
See, exactly,
I'm
man.
looking at the defense. You're looking at the wrong way here.
Never ends.
You think it's all about the offense and the quarterbacks. I want to see what the Chiefs defense can do.
So you notice even when they were talking about the rules, you notice they didn't say, hey, if the defense scores, they just said if you get a safety. They just left it at that. Not. If
I didn't even understand that part of the rules.
Exactly. I'm like, they're just throwing it in.
I don't even know what the hell that means.
That means the defense made a stop. It doesn't matter about any of this other nonsense, but they don't even want to talk about it like that because once again, we know it sells tickets, offenses. But you need defenses to win championships, as we obviously saw as well. But it just makes it. I guess I just laugh at it a little bit, man. I don't really care one way or the other because I don't think we're going to see this happen a lot. When you're talking about postseason overtime, it's not often that you're getting postseason overtime games. And for it to go to that extent where you might see them go back and forth, most of the time, I don't think it's going to play out like that where they're going to score. Then they're going to score. Now we're having this conversation again. So for me, man, it is what it is. I just laugh at it, though. That's all.
I'm telling you, the line's right there.
I don't believe it, but it sounds good.
No, I will say the line might move to regular season, but that's it. That is the hard line.
You just said it wasn't going to move anywhere. That was
but it's still the same rule. The rules aren't going to expand anymore, whether they're in the postseason only or they expand also to the regular season. That's it. I think that's the line.
Yeah.
I promise you. I promise.
Do we still care about player health and safety? Just asking for a friend.
Oh, yeah. It's always at the forefront.
Oh, it is? That's weird because I'm thinking to myself, additional regular season game, additional playoff game. Now we're effectively going to, expand overtime with the new format if both teams are scoring. I just don't see how this is helping from a player healthy perspective. But in all seriousness, though, I do like the business model for the NFL. They are great with what they're doing right now. They're expanding the amount of exposure for risk and injury, keep the average career span decreasing, but keeping your pension at the same level. It's a great business model. I love it. Shout out to the NFL, man. It works like that. It works like that.
Well, I never wanted to go to 17 games to begin with, or 18 games, or for it to expand from 6 teams to 7. I didn't want any of that.
Hey, but
how could we do the rule? Here's my question,
too,
though.
Don't worry, we took a preseason game. That helps out.
Here's my question, though. Yeah. How are they expanding these rules?
In what regard?
Is it just, okay, if Chiefs score, Bills get it, they score. They both score a touchdown, let's just say. And then instead of
the
next
Chiefs
score
go
wins.
Kick a field goal?
Well, no, I was going to say, instead of just next score wins, if Chiefs kick a field goal, Bills get a chance to match. Is that what you're saying? Is that how the rules can expand?
I can see it expanding like that because wouldn't you feel some type of way? You just said that you wouldn't want them to
I wouldn't want that. It's just too much.
But what's the difference between them kicking a field goal on the opening possession of overtime and them kicking a possession on the third series in overtime after both teams have scored? Because once again, we're going to be talking about fair, right? Because that's why everybody brings up overtime. I want fair overtime. And you know my stance. I don't care about fair in overtime. You had 60 minutes for fair. Overtime is meant to find a winner. I even love how much excitement goes into the coin toss in overtime because it actually matters. We act like the coin toss ain't at the beginning of the regular season game either.
I feel like it's better, though, now that the coin toss matters less.
But why is that?
Because that's just 50-50 chance, at least in
how
this
much
scenario.
more fair could you get, though? Isn't 50-50 as fair as it can get in that avenue?
It's fair in one standpoint, unfair in that it's not based off merit of how the teams are playing, though. It's just.
But when is overtime ever based on the merit of how a team? If you're dominating the regular game, do you get the ball first mandatory? Like, nah, that's never been the case. So I don't see how those two things work. I just think of it as the coin flip is legit 50-50. It doesn't matter who your quarterback. It doesn't matter what your record is. It doesn't matter who's home or who's away. We're just flipping the coins. No different than a jump ball in basketball. That's kind of how I looked at it.
Listen, I get your sentiment of just, hey, defense got to step up. It's a team game for a reason. Special teams got to step up. Whoever it is. This is the line, though. Just give me this. I feel like this needed to happen.
I will be excited to see what happens when both teams score and then other teams comes and kicks.
No, I promise. I'm done.
This
is the one I've been calling for. You have to admit, this is the one I've been calling for since we started the podcast.
Yeah.
I think we talked about, was it a Saints-Vikings one? That might have happened in a Saints-Vikings one, too.
I don't remember.
Kirk Cousins scored in overtime. He had a really
He had
clutch
the
throw
walk-off,
to
yeah.
Kyle Rudolph.
The
I was like,
walk-off
I wanted Breeze to have a
Well,
possession.
no, because you didn't think that Kirk Cousins was good enough to win on the road down there.
I
and
didn't
that's
think
why
that.
you wanted that, where he
had
went
one
and
moment.
did what he did.
He had one moment.
Yeah, one moment. You like that?
He had one moment. But yeah, I remember because that was maybe the first year of our podcast.
Yeah, that was
Second year, I can't remember.
Before the
It was
Rams,
the first year.
That was before the Rams Saints PI. Yeah, because that was the year after. Yeah, so we were already recording by then. Yeah.
So I've been saying I want this rule in place
Yeah.
since then, and that's it. I'm done. So
Alright.
you're not going to see me switch up. I promise.
Yeah, like I said, for me, man,
This is the
it
line.
doesn't bother me one way or the other. It's just funny because I do feel like it's never gonna end.
I hope it does. I hope this is
feel like
it.
it's
I
never
really
gonna
do.
end,
Because
man.
if we do start expanding it, then it's just going to start getting a little ridiculous. I
But
think.
that's what people want: fair. That's what they keep hollering about in overtime.
If they were going to do it that way, they got to do it like college football and start at the 20s. Because it's just going to take so much time. I don't want that. I don't. But start at the 20s and just go back and forth matching points and stuff. Because to be doing that full field, yeah, it's going to be basically 2 games in one potentially.
Yeah.
If the defense
and we know
can't
what that
stop
means
them.
for the following week as well. I mean, we've seen just how guys aren't 100% healthy when they play from a Sunday to Thursday, or even if you go out there and have to play Sunday to Saturday. That matters. It affects these guys. So when you're talking about this back and forth in the, overtime element, along with it being in the postseason, I just think that, it could have a little bit more of a damning effect. But either way, it's going to be exciting to watch.
I'm
I just
surprised it
wanna
happened. I really am. I thought this was going to be like 5 years down the line.
No, but the thing that I did like, man, the more I looked into it, number one, they weren't all on board with it initially. And
Yeah.
this is kind of what they compromised.
That's what I thought the
and settled
buys
on.
were. I didn't think
Yeah.
everyone was really for this.
No, because most of the guys, especially like coaches, they understand what overtime does to their team. It's not like college. College, you got 75 guys on a game day roster. NFL is 45 guys, 46. But you got 2 to 3 quarterbacks. You got a center, you got a long snapper, you got a kicker, you got a punter. Those are positions that don't play anything else. So you run out of bodies really quickly. That's why you have guys that start on offense and defense that will still be playing on special teams as well. So the more you have these guys out there, the more it's going to wear those guys down. You talk about adding a regular season game. You talk about adding playoff games. That adds up. And now when you're talking about expanding how much exposure these guys are, going to be experiencing in terms of potential injury, the contact associated with it, it adds up. And that's where you can start to see those guys breaking down, especially their bodies. We've talked about how even TJ Watt, for example, right? As great as he was last year, we could point to times where he said, man, he just looks like he needs a game off. He needs time to recover. But it's like, man, the more we add, the more we do and expand like that, the more of that happens. Now, granted, it may not be to all your star players, but you will see that happen a lot more. And that's when I think people will be like, oh, you know what, man, it's not a good idea. Maybe we should dial it back some. But until we see it more frequently, that's just the reality of it. And the NFL knows that they make more money by doing these type of things. So, I mean, like I said, it's going to be fun to watch either way. I'm glad my body isn't out there.